Ah, yes, the Lego minifigure, first created way back in... screw the history lesson. We love the little guys. People collect a whole bunch of them, I collect a bunch of them. But man, sometimes it's just hard to really catch them all, you know? I'm Venom, and I'm here to present you TTV's top 10 rarest Lego minifigures. This list will acknowledge the market value of the figures, the quantity, the availability, the demand. We feel that all these factors need to be taken into consideration in determining the rarity of these figures, so bear with me here. So we'll kick off this list with our number 10, the New York YODA. Exactly 1,000 of these short stumps were given away in Times Square sometime in 2013 to celebrate the completion of a life-sized X-Wing fighter made completely out of Lego bricks. Now, we've gotten plenty of YODA figures before, including some with this particular head mold, but the unique thing about this variant is that instead of robes, he's wearing a special shirt that reads, "New York, I love." There was no other way to get this Big Apple enamored version of the Jedi Master aside from the giveaway, but one could obtain it unofficially from third-party sellers. There's plenty of them on eBay, but the prices are pretty unforgiving, costing between $50 and $200 a pop. You think that's difficult for the average minifig collecting Joe to obtain? We're just getting started. Moving on to number 9, the Collector, an exclusive minifig that was distributed at San Diego Comic-Con 2014. This minifigure is based on the character that appears in Guardians of the Galaxy, and, well, it's likely that its very existence is purposed to promote the movie's release. We definitely never got this figure in any of the very few Guardians sets released at the time. Kinda surprising, really. So this was the only way anybody could get the figure in the first place. About 1,750 of these guys were made, and some have been resold for somewhere between $180 to $270. So there's definitely a good bit of demand behind it, aside from the fact that it's a licensed character, but I think you'd be surprised with what else we have on the list. At number 8, we have Dark Leonardo, or Shadow Leonardo to some people. Only 500 of these were made and distributed at New York Comic Con 2012 in celebration of the Lego Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme debut thing. While most people ended up keeping their little Leos, distinctly colored in black and gray and looking all cool and whatnot, some of them decided to sell the figure for a few hundreds of dollars online and whatnot, and it's only getting more expensive over time. You can find a couple of these guys on eBay and whatnot, but good luck trying to afford one. Now, as cool as this Dark Leonardo is, we have a couple of other minifigures on this list that are a little bit cooler. Some stuff that is really craved by collectors. So moving on, at number 7, we got the Green Arrow minifigure, released exclusively at San Diego Comic-Con 2013. Based on his new 52 design, this was the only Green Arrow minifigure officially released by Lego at the time. And unfortunately, there was only 200 of them ever made. Now, there is another Green Arrow minifigure in existence that's also based on the new 52 design, and it was released with the Dark Side Invasion set 2 years later. Unlike the newer one, however, the Comic-Con figure has leg printing, dark green limbs, a hood, and a different face print. Keeping that in mind, it's still pretty unique, and therefore has a really high demand. Some of the lucky few who have managed to acquire the figure have been reselling it for over $200, and much like Dark Leonardo, the value has only shot up over time, and the quantity is dwindling. However, the demand for this figure isn't really as high as, say, number 6 on our list, the Star Wars 30th Anniversary Chrome Gold C-3PO. Back in 2007, only 10,000 of these beauties were ever made, and then packaged into random Lego Star Wars sets across the globe. Think about it. Only 10,000 sets throughout the world got this little guy hidden inside. I feel bad for whoever may have unknowingly resold an unopened set that just so happened to be one of those lucky 10,000. Now, since this was way back in 2007, the only way you could obtain one nowadays is by buying off of one of the lucky few who would even bother thinking about giving it up. It's a unique and really pretty looking minifigure, and it's a beloved character, and the demand is incredibly high. Alone, it sells for over $400 on average. However, it is something to say when there have been 10,000 opportunities worldwide to get this minifigure. That's a different story when we look at the next item on our list. Number 5. the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spidey minifigure, distributed at the San Diego Comic-Con 2013. We have gotten several Spider-Man minifigures in various sets over the years, but this one is definitively one of a kind. It's got a completely uniquely printed head, torso, and legs. It's generally considered to be the best design of a minifigure for everyone's favorite wall crawler. But, you know, leaving that aside, the leg printing is kind of like the biggest deal here, really. Because for the longest time, it was the only Spider-Man minifigure to have this sort of thing. It's done in the same style as the Green Arrow minifig, and it's there for the sake of accuracy to the actual costume design. It's my personal pain, really, because I really want this figure. Unfortunately, all 325 that were made remained exclusive to its Comic-Con distribution, and the only way to obtain this particular figure would be buying it off of somebody for several hundreds of dollars. It's only gotten more sparse over time, and nowadays would resell for somewhere between $800 to $1,000, which is why it deserves its placement on this list. However, there are, of course, worse cases than this. One of them is number 4, the Collector's Preview Captain America. Long before we got the whole bunch of Avengers sets and minifigures and such, a lucky 125 people managed to each acquire their very own unique Captain America figure from attending an exclusive collector's preview party during TOYFAIR 2012. Not only is it the very first Captain America figure released by Lego, it's also the most unique. Unlike the others we've gotten in sets, this is actually Bucky Barnes as he appears in the comics after taking on the title, or shield I guess, of Captain America. The other minifigs we get are based on Steve Rogers, and they're mostly from the movies, and they all generally have a much different design than good old Bucky here. This cap alone has resold for up to $1,000, and it's pretty dang hard to find considering how very few were even given away. Funny thing about this though is that the next minifig on our list has a similar story. Number 3, Collector's Preview Iron Man. Coinciding with the distribution of the Captain America figure over at TOYFAIR 2012, only 125 of these Iron Man minifigs were also given away to the lucky chumps that somehow got into the preview party. I mean, what the heck? How the heck do you even get into one of these things? I swear, it's weird. But anyway, it's also the very first Iron Man minifigure released by Lego. However, much like the Captain America fig, this one's got its own unique shtick. Aside from having unique printing, the thing that really sets this minifig apart from all the other Iron Men we've gotten over the years is the fact that rather than a bulbous removable helmet piece, this figure has the helmet design printed onto the minifig headpiece. A very interesting choice by Lego, never ever repeated ever again for an Iron Man figure, and it's very much sought after nonetheless. Oftentimes the resale value of this figure is a tad bit higher than Cap's, and found online much less frequently. I mean, if I had to sell one of these two figures personally, I'd probably want to keep this one too. That head is just awesome. But personally, if I were to hoard or resell any minifigs, it'd have to be one or both of the next two we have on our list. Starting with number 2, the Mr. Gold minifigure. This particular figure has been infamous for being so rare and high in value. Back in 2010, Lego decided to capitalize on the popularity of their minifigures' collectible value by pumping out the series of blind bags, each one containing a unique minifig, like a dude in a gorilla suit, or a dude in a dinosaur suit or something like that, or a clown. In 2013, the Happy Building Brick Company decided to include one of these shiny, savvy, suave-looking gentlemen in 5,000 random blind bags from Series 10. And now think about that for a second. Only 5,000 across the globe, and much higher in value for Lego collectors than some of the comic characters we had earlier on the list. I mean, not every Lego fan is a comic fan, to be fair, and trust me, that value has showed. Go on eBay or something, you'll find a whole lot of replicas being sold off for about $50, but the real deal, the real Mr. Gold, sells for well over $1,000. So you'll know if you found the real one if the dude is selling it expecting that much in return. Or is it? You'll never know. And that's partially what makes this minifig so freaking rare. You never know if it's real or not until you actually get it. But you'd know it's even more rare. Now before we get to number 1 on our list, here's an honorable mention. The 2015 Lego Brand Retail Managers Conference exclusive minifigure. That was a mouthful. This is quite the interesting little thing, isn't it? It's a minifigure depicting what appears to be a zombified Lego store manager with interchangeable heads so you can have either a male or a female zombie. As part of a recent tradition, minifigures would be exclusively handed out at the conference and only the conference. The reason why this particular one is so significant is because it's so unique compared to the other figures that were handed out before. It's got the most character and the most interesting design overall. You can find some of the parts of this figure elsewhere, like the head, arms, hands, and hair pieces, but the tethered apron and such, purely exclusive to this figure. However, we don't know how many were exactly made or resold or how much each would even resell for nowadays, making it difficult to weigh in just exactly how rare we can consider it to be. And remember, rarity implies that there's a chance you could obtain the item in question at all, and when it comes to this figure, that part is still up in the air. Now, for number 1 on our list, the rarest minifigure of all time, the solid 14-karat gold Boba Fett minifigure. With only 2 of these in existence, each one was included in a set of 3 different Boba Fett figures, and this set could have only been obtained by participating in a particular San Diego Comic-Con event back in like 2010. It's known that apparently at least one of the sets was acquired by somebody who was willing to sell it some time ago, but the details after the fact are a bit hazy. Nobody really knows if a deal was ever made, or if the dude actually had the figures at all. It's a bit odd. Some LEGO fans even question the existence of the figure with how rare it is. As far as we've reached out, we can conclude that it does exist, and it is worth a whole lot to many people. Something over $10,000. Truly valuable, truly unique, and truly hard to obtain. And that's why we picked Boba Fett to place number 1 in our top 10 rarest minifigures. But that's just our thoughts. What are yours? Post your top 10 rarest minifigures in the comments below. Or you could post to our message boards located at board.ttvpodcast.com. What are some minifigures that are hard for you to obtain? Feel free to share your thoughts and whatnot. I'm Venom, and I thank you all for watching.